Let's have a quick look at one of the first tools, the pen tool, shortcut P. The primary pen tool works in two different ways. We can click from point to point and it will create a path. If we go to the end point, it will close that path, or just press Ctrl Z. If you press enter, it will end that. The other options are the freeform pen tool, which allows you to create a freeform shape. Note that this one is quite jagged because it is trying to actually look at the image from underneath, because I have magnetic turned on. If I have magnetic turned off, it will create a curved shape like this. For logo creation, this isn't usually as helpful as using the standard pen tool. I'm going to delete that. The third pen tool is the curvature pen tool, and this one uses algorithms. It's going to start again to create curves as we click from point to point. This is very mathematically elegant, but unfortunately we do often lack the precise control that we might require, and we might have to go back later and change some of these points. Note with all of these tools that every time I click, I create what's known as an anchor point, these tiny little squares. These can be later manipulated to do whatever we like. I'm going to switch back to the standard pen tool here, and let's have a look at the path that I've just created. The path itself is actually a shape. The pen tool has an option of going either shape or path. A path does not have a fill in it. Let's have a look at the fill. So with shape selected, we'll notice that we have a fill option here. I currently have this selected to null. If I click on there, here is the null shape here. This is essentially saying that I do not have a color or gradient or pattern in my shape. I can change this by clicking on this first option here, and if you hover, it will say solid color, then gradient, and then pattern. I'm going to go to solid color. There it is. It's selected a color. We have some preset colors that we can choose from, or we can go to the top right here and manually select any color that we like. I'm going to step out of that, and let's look at the next option, which is the stroke. The stroke is the line outside of the shape. So I can click on there, and once again we have options for the colors. The next option here to do with the stroke is the actual line, and by default it is a standard line, but we do have other options including dashed and dotted line. Please note these can be changed by pressing more option, and you can actually go through and do things like increase the gap and also increasing dashes, dots, etc. I'm going to switch back to the solid line. I'm going to increase the size of my line by going to this option here, and as you can see I can change that. By clicking in a line in our line option here, I can choose to have my stroke being on the inside of my path, in the middle of my path, both inside and out, and just on the outside. So by playing with these, we can vary how the stroke is going to affect our shape.